were surprised by the turnout today?
I was surprised by the turnout. It's really interesting. You know, there's recently a lot of interest in what I do. When I first started out in feature film at Tippett Studio, was my first job at a feature effects company, there was no rigging department. They would just get someone who knew how to rig and would force them to rig a character. And quickly they saw a need to have a group of people who specialize just in that. And so it's actually a fairly recent thing. You know, if you think back before Jurassic Park, there weren't that many animated characters in a movie. So there really wasn't a need for rigging departments. And you know, from that movie on, you know, with animated characters, a group of people like myself emerged that specialized just in that. I've been at Disney a little over 2 years now. Yeah.
And what do you do?
A character TD, or character technical director. We basically put in the controls for animation. It starts out with building the rig of the character. We also run cloth simulations. If a character is wearing clothing, if a character's hair needs to be animated, we're working out ways to animate and run simulations on hair. So any type of control that they need to pose a character is what we do.
Great. Long hours?
You know, Disney is a great place to work. They make it a great place to work. They, you know, we do our standard hours, you know, 9 to 6, and we all go home to our families after that. You know, there are crunch times, but it's one of the best places I've ever worked. Yeah, it's a great.
What projects have you worked on at Disney so far?
At Disney so far, I've worked on Meet the Robinsons, and another project that's in progress, being directed by Chris Sanders, and in the near future I'm going to be one of the leads or supervisors on a future show, which is start up in a few months.
Title?
Unfortunately, we can't give out titles. Yeah, unfortunately.
Authors,
well, the director is, for the one I'm working on now, is Chris Sanders. He directed Lilo and Stitch. And the future project is a first-time feature animation director, I believe. He's directed other projects, Sam Levine.
Okay. What was the aim of your presentation here today at ADAPT?
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to show how we are trying to apply the classic 2D principles of animation to CG animation. And also to demystify it. Often when I teach classes or I demo rigs at SIGGRAPH where I can't go into detail in how it works, many people are completely perplexed at how the rig is moving the way it's moving. And you know, I wanted to show why we're building the rigs that way, you know, just to match the classic principles of animation, and just to show that it's not quite as mystical as some people think it is. I think understanding the principles of 2D for 2D animation, or of sculpture if you're a CG modeler, is always important. I mean, that's the foundation. That's basically what we're trying to emulate. So understanding that is essential. And I think of the training material that's out there, not much of it covers these types of techniques. And even with CG animation up till now, like if you look at Pixar's animation or if you look at Shrek, there's not that much squash and stretch in their characters. It's all great animation, but now animators are starting to demand, you know, that level of control with their rig. So we're, you know, accommodating that in 3D.
How does it work with your team? How many people work around you? What's the workflow like? What's the hierarchy? How does it work at Disney for a big project?
Yeah, for a big project, a team of character TDs, character technical directors, would be between, I'd say, 12 and 16, 12 and 15, and that would involve rigging 70 to 100 characters for a show, maintaining them throughout. In terms of how we work, and the total team would be maybe 120 people for the total artist team. The way we work as character TDs, hierarchy-wise, is we'll typically get a design packet which is the 3D model and 2D reference, which is always great. It's great working in a studio with a lot of 2D artists. They can draw a lot of the 2D, how they see the character animating, which is great for us and takes us back to the 2D principles. We're basically mimicking what they see in 2D in 3D. So we'll get the model packet, and that gives us a frame of reference. Like, this is what we need to achieve with our rig, and particularly with facial animation also. And then from there, we have a lot of tools to build our rigs, and we'll pass it back and forth between the animator and ourselves a few times until we've gotten it to where they can, and they'll do test animations with dialogue and action, just to make sure that they can hit the poses that they need to hit. Artists learning today are very fortunate. When I first began studying, the software only ran on SGIs, which are $50,000 computers. The software cost $30,000, and there were no tutorials. So now there's access to a lot of information out there. DVDs, finding a good school. But I would always recommend starting with the fundamentals. If you want to study modeling, study sculpture, study figure drawing. If you want to do animation, study those things as well, and 2D animation. That's basically what we're mimicking in 3D, and you'll always want to reference the foundation. So I would start out with 2D and then try to find whatever resources you can in 3D. And luckily, there are people. I like teaching. I don't think there are any secrets out there. It's the more good work out there, the better it is for everyone in our industry. So I'll share whatever tools and techniques I have, that aren't proprietary with anyone out there. And I think more and more people in my industry think the same way. So you're seeing tutorials and books, that type of thing.